Today on Made for the Outdoors. Lucky Duck dog kennels are built to protect man's most precious cargo.
People are passionate about outdoor equipment.
Get this. Americans spend $30 billion a year on gear.
But no one ever really sees how their stuff gets made.
That's where we come in.
Made for the Outdoors. Made for the Outdoors is presented by Warner's Dock.
For many, hunting is a way of life. Companies like Lucky Duck manufacture all kinds of products to increase success in the blind. One of their newest products is made to protect one of a hunter's most valuable resources.
Whoa!
Man's best friend.
Lucky Duck is a hunting products company. We make a variety of different products from waterfowl hunting to predator hunting, game bird, turkey, and the dog kennel market. We started out to make a dog kennel, and the whole reason behind it was we use dogs in all our waterfowl hunting or upland hunting. They're a big part of our family life, and we wanted to make something that was extremely durable, safe for the pet, yet lightweight and easy enough for people to use.
Lucky Duck kennels are made in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. We're at the manufacturing plant to see how it's done start to finish. The first step takes place upstairs. Engineering is extremely important. Lucky Duck kennels aren't just light. They're one of the safest dog kennels on the market.
We've been able to make it safe where it passes the Center for Pet Safety 5-star crash test rated kennel, but yet anybody in the family can move it around. We're the only kennel brand that has all of our sizes 5-star crash test rated.
After engineering, we hit the factory floor. Sales engineer Ted Bentink is showing me around today. But first,
like any responsible shop, we of course need our safety equipment, but I like to call it safety accessories. Wow, check it out, it's huge. Hey Ted.
Hi Alexa, welcome to our facility.
Thank you.
Here we are, here out of the plant. Ready to get started?
I'm so ready, let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay Ted, so this is where it all starts. Why don't you tell me about the raw materials?
So we purchased the raw material in a pellet form, and we have silos outside that store the raw material in the pellet form. We bring the pellets into this machine here, which grinds it up into a powder. It'll sift it through the various screens which you see up here, and whatever passes will get blown back into another silo. Whatever doesn't pass will go through the second grinder until it meets the required specified in a powdered resin form.
So that is just a plastic.
This is a pellet form. It's a medium density polyethylene.
I hope you guys heard that because I can't hear anything.
So here we have an actual, the powdered form that has already been colored. The colorant is added. So our pulverizer will pulverize into a powder, but it'll be in a natural color, just a natural form. This machine here, we add in the pigment, the required amount of pigment to give it the gray colorant. It'll blend the resin with the pigment to give you your color. So this will be the actual raw material that'll be poured into the mold.
And is the dye, is that a liquid form or is that also a resin?
Nope, the pigment is in a powdered form as well.
might as well see for myself. With the dye fully blended, the materials head to the roto mold. Things get spinning when we get back on Made for the Outdoors.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Warner's Dock, Aquarius Home Services, Ice Castle Fish House and RV, Flow Trailers, And by Keystone Light. Keystone Light, always smooth. Celebrate responsibly.
Welcome back to Made for the Outdoors. Lucky Duck dog kennels are made with special attention to detail. After all, the folks behind the company are passionate about their pups.
These dogs, do a ton of work for us, become, our best friends in some instances, right? And they're a huge member of our family. The kids love them. Everybody loves the dog as a part of the family. And knowing that we're going and traveling with these dogs all across the country and they're in a safe environment is really important to us. I have a dog, his name's Scout. Myself, our family love him to death.
On the factory floor, the dyed plastic resin is ready for rotational molding. The resin is weighed out so the perfect amount ends up in the mold. Workers load the mold with 33 pounds of material.
There's so many moving parts, like from the vents to the pins with the inserts in them.
Rotational molding is very operator dependent. So you need good operators to help, because just look how much they're handling the part every single time.
And will there be leftover resin in the middle? Will there be a little bit of powder in it?
There shouldn't be. For a proper cure, it should be all completely smooth.
Inside the oven, the mold rotates on 2 different axes. As it heats up, the resin lays down layer by layer until there's no powder left, resulting in uniform thickness.
Our molds are out of the oven and have entered the first of 2 approximately 15-minute cooling phases. Now you'll notice that mold has to continue rotating so we get that very, very even thickness all around. And I asked if they could strap me in so I could do a little astronaut testing. They said no.
After the second cooling phase, the mold is unloaded.
So although our kennel has gone through the majority of the cooling process, it still's a little warm to the touch and it still has a little bit more cooling to do. During that cooling process, we're losing volume. So we put this fixture in to make sure we maintain the exact dimensions of that door opening. Because when it comes to your pet, it's gotta be perfect.
Perfection is key. Workers trim what's called the flash and flame treat the kennel to take out any imperfections. During first stage assembly, a template is used to route holes for the door frame. Then workers add the tie-down rods and handles. The threading for these features are actually molded into the kennel itself for strength.
Let me try these handles out. Yeah, they feel pretty good. They feel solid. I think you did a great job. All right, so this is going onto a pallet and then we're taking it to the CNC.
During second stage assembly, air vents and other various holes are routed by a CNC machine. At the same time, doors are being assembled by hand at a different station. All that's left are the finishing touches. We'll get to those when we get back. You're watching Made for the Outdoors.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Grain Belt Premium Beer, Finishing Trades Institute of the Upper Midwest, Horn Dog Maps, and by Ace Solid Waste.
Welcome back to Made for the Outdoors. As we've followed our kennel down the line, there have been a few surprises in the process.
Ted, I've been really surprised throughout this entire process how hands-on it is. I mean, we do have the use of a CNC machine here, but besides that, it's really human labor.
Well, it really is. I mean, in the course of one kennel, going through the entire process from molding to secondary to final assembly, I would say there's at least 7 to 8 different operators that will touch the kennel before it is put into the box.
And so having the right employees who you can really rely on has to be super important.
Exactly. And having them well trained, showing up every day, and even caring for the product. And our employees do. I mean, they really care about the product that goes into the box.
You can tell because the output is great. Today, there are 9 hands touching the product from start to finish.
The last step of assembly is fastening the doors. But these doors are unique.
When we designed the kennel, we wanted to make the features of it extremely easy to use, safe for the pet, and really functional.
One of the really unique parts about a Lucky Duck kennel is the door. Now, this can actually be flipped around and used the other way. So depending upon where you have this, maybe it's in your garage, maybe it's in your truck, this door can open to the right or to the left. So however you need to configure it, it's very convenient. The other unique thing is these safety pins. So not only do you have the main latching device, you have 2 safety pins on top and bottom for that added security. That is one of those features that allows for this to be the Center for Pet Safety 5-star test approved.
Lucky Duck dog kennels are bagged, boxed, and labeled before being shipped out to lucky dogs all around the world.
So it's become a global company. You know, our focus is North America. We do a ton of business in North America, but you can see our products and find our products in a variety of countries across the world. But then they also go to Australia and New Zealand and South America and Europe, Canada.
The passion at Lucky Duck runs deep, which means they'll be making products for man's best friend and beyond for years to come.
There's no doubt you'll be seeing new things from us in the future. Most of the people that work at Lucky Duck live and breathe the outdoor world, the hunting world. It's a passion for us, right? And when something's your passion, you put even that much more energy and effort behind it.
Next up, we head in the garage.
So all of this is only cutting out, 60 feet or whatever this one is at.
I always liked art. I'd always doodle and draw.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Magnum Research, Central Boiler, Hunt Worth, and by Guy Metals.
When you're a kid who loves fishing, who knows where life leads?
As a kid, we would always go to Pleasant Lake up in Hackensack, Minnesota. That's kind of where I grew my love of fishing.
For Mitch Heil, his path took a few detours, including a tour in Afghanistan. Later, back home, Mitch returned to his love of fishing and lake life, but combined it with his other passions, woodworking and computer programming. Mitch creates 3D lake maps. Instead of paint, they're made with wood and lasers.
It's not typical art where you're using a paintbrush or an easel or something like that, or sculpting.
I find this works better than going to the gym and working out.
Kind of always had an affinity for maps and just reading them, do a lot of fishing, so I'm always looking at different maps of lakes here and there.
But mostly it's just for fishing for me.
When finished, this will be a map of Girl Lake in Cass County.
You put all of the same depth on the same layer. So all of this is only cutting out, 60 feet or whatever this one is at. So all the laser's doing is it's just following the contours.
Ah, yes, the laser.
Like, I can't do this on a scroll saw because it took me, 6 hours or 7 hours to cut out one for myself. And then I found out that laser cutters exist, CO2 laser cutters exist. So then it brings me over to my first proof of concept on a laser, Forest Lake. And it can do a lot more detail. I'm using thinner wood. You can preserve your islands and your underwater humps a lot better.
Mitch isn't alone in his love of lakes. He creates maps for many wanting to relive a memory.
Water brings you life. You go out there fishing, or even if it's just boating or skiing or recreational, or in a lot of cases it's a sentimental thing where your grandparents had a cabin out there and you spent every summer there.
His company name is also unforgettable. Named after his dog Sterling.
We found out you could train the dogs to look for the antlers. So in my family, it's always been kind of an inside running joke that we call the antlers, we call them horns. So we called Sterling was my little horn dog.
As for Girl Lake, well, it was special to one well-known Minnesota family.
It's one constant thing that stuck with me through my entire life. Out of all the other hobbies and everything I've ever done, fishing has always been there, front and center.
We couldn't agree more.
The sound of nature, so pure.
All right, watch your step.
Micah Hansen understands. On a sticky summer day, his family heads for moving water. This stretch of river, Micah's dream, what he long ago painted in his mind. A place the family could play.
Any bites, anybody?
And do this.
I missed one.
I win bragging rights.
That's what it's all about with these guys. There you go.
Hooking dreams that sometimes
Got one. No, it was a big one.
don't always come true. No problem.
That breeze feels nice.
Micah found a way to protect those memories, one detailed brushstroke at a time.
So I use a gloss medium varnish. This goes in with my acrylics, and then I use water to mix it together. The gloss medium varnish gives it kind of a transparency. I always liked art. I'd always doodle and draw.
After high school and college, Micah found his focus. Work best expressed back in town, inside his insurance agency office.
This is where I am if I'm not with family or fishing, I guess, or hunting.
See, Micah the fisherman and Micah the artist
These are my least favorite ones.
also bears the title winner.
That's kind of the trout wall over there. So this one was a 2000 Minnesota trout stamp. Every little scale, I drew it in there by hand and then painted it by hand and then colored it by painted it by hand.
Many states offer small conservation stamps as part of annual fishing and hunting licenses.
2002 Delaware trout stamp winner.
Artists like Micah compete to win spots on those stamps.
And then now it's the 03 Minnesota trout stamp winner. And that's the last time I've won the trout stamp.
Micah has racked up wins in 3 states, 20 total places for all his stamps.
Then these are the turkey stamp winning paintings.
Not bad for a guy who considers this work nothing more than hobby.
2011 was the turkey stamp for Minnesota, 2015, 2019. I don't know, I just enjoy having something to paint for.
Certainly, it ain't for the dough.
If I win this contest, state gives you nothing, which is totally fine. I'm not doing it for that. It's more the challenge. It's just kind of a rush of, competitive rush. I don't know how you'd explain it.
Good stuff from a guy so casual about his work. Maybe that's what makes Micah so good.
I love deer hunting, but I've done one deer painting. I'm not sure why. I think probably because I think deer, I think a bigger picture, and I know it's going to take me longer.
A pretty good excuse when you love spending time like this.